All right, guys, welcome back to the show. You're with Mark and Tom, TCG&Whiskey here. We're going over UFC Vegas 53. Pretty good headliner here. Rob Font and Marlin Vera. First, let's say thank you to our sponsor, Tampa Bless, Home Team Do Good, TampaBless.com for more information on that. Guys, let's get right into it, though. Today, we're starting out Rob Font. Ranked number 5 right now. He's 19-5. He's a minus 130 favorite. He's 34 years old. He's coming off that loss to Jose Aldo, but before that, he was on that 4-fight winning streak. Some big names: Garbrandt, Moraes, Simon, and Pettis, Simone and Pettis. He's going up against Marlin Cheeto Vera, who's ranked number 8. He's climbing the rankings. He's 18-7-1. He's a plus 110 dog. He's 29 years old, and his last fight was that crazy kick on beating Frankie Edgar and Davy Grant. Tom, how does this one stack up for you? I mean, it's close. The line tells you it's close. This is a close one.
Man,
It's difficult.
you're not kidding, man. This almost all out of the 7 fights we're gonna cover. I would say 6 of them. I could easily be wrong on the pick. It's just that close. One, I'd be stunned, but either way, you never know. Nothing's a guarantee. Rob Font, Marlon Vera, almost a pick 'em in my mind, and the line kind of reflects that. Vera never been finished though, so keep that in mind. Marlon's never been finished. He's got really high confidence right now. He's talking about this fight, the winner of it, getting a title shot. I don't really know if that's going to happen, but that shows you where his head's
It's
at.
close.
And his skill,
It's close.
yeah, it is close. He's not like out of his mind with that. I don't know if it's blatantly obvious where you're going to have like pretty much everyone in agreement. Skill set though, noticeably rising from Marlon. You could see he's getting better fight to fight. Rob Font, really like him as well. You know, I'm a big Rob Font fan as well, man. I like both these guys. Marlon, though, I gotta say, just got that head tattoo from Burt Crack down at Smith Street Tattoo in Brooklyn. And as you know, I was a big Smith Street guy. Got a lot of work done by them. Also, Dan Santora over in American House. Got to plug a couple guys. Rel up in Newburgh, Rel Salgado. But anyways, Burt Crack. And I had actually said, yo, is that Burt Crack? On Twitter, on Marlon's Twitter. And I'm nobody, you know. And Marlon hit back, yeah. It was funny.
Small world, man. Small world.
Yeah, definitely. Anyhow, you know what, dude? I'm back and forth on this one, honestly, man. But I'm gonna go with Cheeto, man. I'm gonna go with Cheeto by
Underdog
decision
here.
here.
You know what? You know
Yeah.
what? I like it. I do. I like it a lot. I think this fight is gonna be close. Here's another thing. We haven't seen Marlon go 5 rounds yet. He hasn't been. This is his first big main event right now. That's a factor right there. He always.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a small question for me. Does he have the stamina? He always brings it for 3 rounds. He's a very slow starter, though. We got to see how he keeps up the pace. So I'm seeing this fight as Marlon, the slow starter. Rob Font is a fast starter. I think he gets that jab going, possibly wins round 1, maybe round 2. I don't see him going for the takedowns too much, even though he does have pretty good takedowns. And Marlon's takedown defense isn't phenomenal. We've seen that in a couple of his fights. But I think the path was shown when Aldo went up against Font. And Marlon has the same, if not better, leg kicks as Aldo has. Because Aldo doesn't use them the same way he used to when he was younger. But once his coach told him, hey, Jose, get those leg kicks going on Font to slow down that jab, it worked. Aldo looked incredible in that fight. I think Marlon can do the same thing. Heavy leg kicks to that front calf, slow down that jab, grind on him, and we know the weapon for Marlon also is his chin. His chin's unbelievable, as you mentioned, never finished, and he's been in some vicious fights. I think Marlon gets it done. I think he edges him out. I think we see a close decision here, though. I think it's jab versus leg kicks. And you just can't eat those leg kicks. That is the problem.
And I also think like how much are the judges gonna weigh takedowns? I think getting taken down is a big deal. but it depends on the judges. Sometimes they don't weigh him as heavily. You know, you got to get takedown plus something.
Right.
Because you saw Frankie Edgar was able to just take down Marlon pretty regularly. And, you know, Marlon ended up coming back and getting that chin kick later on. But Marlon's definitely got to be wary of that because Rob Font could try to turn it into that cycle of takedowns.
He could. I also didn't think Frankie was winning that fight. I thought he won round 1. I thought it was close round 2. I thought he lost it, though. And I thought he was going to lose round 3. And I think, we don't know, but I think Marlin Vera is going to get stronger as the fight goes on. Like I said, he's a very slow starter. He's always been a pretty slow starter. It's just him. But so I think that's his advantage, where Font is a fast starter. We'll see, though. I agree. I'm in agreement with you, though. Marlon Vera, I don't think he gets a title shot, as you mentioned, as he's talking about on Twitter. I think you got potentially Vera climbs up and beats. All right, so obviously he's going to be ranked in the top 5 if he gets this win. I think you got Sandhagen right there, though, waiting also. He wants another shot, even though he's lost a few. Obviously, I think Dillashaw is deserving of the title shot and probably gets it. And Jan's on the outside. You might have to go out and beat Piotr or Sandhagen or someone. Then you're right there. But the other big thing is I think Marlon Vera is a big dude for a bantamweight. Like, he's not a massive dude, but for a bantamweight, he's pretty damn big. And I think Rob Font's like a pretty normal-sized bantamweight. I think Marlon's pretty damn big. He's tall, he's lanky, and he's muscular. As you mentioned, he's really improving. He's really hitting the weights. You can see all of his phases as he's coming up here. I like him. I like him a lot. Let's get into the card market, because these guys are super rare in the card market just because Rob Font was printed in 2019 museum, but only as an autograph. That's tough. I think there's probably a very limited number of those. I think it's like to 99 and the gold's to 25. I don't even know if they had a standard one of him. I have to go back. He might have been a redemption. So, super rare rookie card. Go ahead and look for it. You're not going to find many. I think he's a top guy. Great skill set. At 34, have we seen the best of Rob Font, though? That's my only question about it. I got to see him get this win before I could put a buy rating on him, because this is going to be a tough matchup for him. He gets this win, as you mentioned, either one of these guys is right at title contention. Now, on the other side, Cheeto, also a rare rookie. They did not print him in 21 Prism, so he came out in Select as an autograph. Another guy, little difficult to get. I mean, you could find some of him in some of the other sets, but his true rookie is 21 Select. Hard to find. And I think he's got a lot of upside. I'm not 100%, but I could have sworn Cheeto, like 99%. Cheeto's on the desk now for ESPN Deportes, which always gets guys a lot more popularity. And they become better fighters just watching so much and being in there with so many other guys for tips and pointers and seeing the weaknesses and strengths of other guys. So I really like that. I'm pretty sure he's on the desk. I'm like 99% sure.
I read, I don't know if it's true or not, or how true it was, that he like signed a deal with Pepsi and he's going to be like on billboards back in his like Latin America and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. He's a big. I'm telling you, he's on the. When you get on the desk, it opens everybody's eyes to who you are, especially when you're an active fighter. The guys that are already retired, unless you're a legend, it's not really helping your popularity. But when you're an active fighter, 29 years old, you're on the desk every week. Guys are seeing him. They're seeing Brandon Moreno. They're watching these guys. They're growing in popularity, and they're helping the sport grow in popularity. It's a win-win as far as I see it. But let's move right on. We're both in agreement on that one. We got the heavyweights. I get the feeling we're going to be in agreement on this one too, but you never know. We got Andre Arlovski, 33-20, 2-0 contest. He is a minus 140 favorite. Andre, 43 years old, still the favorite. And he's on that 3-fight winning streak. He's got in the bag Vandera, Carlos Felipe, and Chase Sherman. He's going up against Jake Collier, who's 13-6, plus 120 underdog. He's 33 years old, super young guy. And he's coming off beating Chase Sherman. And before that, he lost to Carlos Felipe. Tom, kind of a sneaky matchup. I feel the bookies got it right though. How do you feel?
Yeah, I agree. I think the main thing that Andre needs to watch out for is round one, getting subbed. That's where Jake is going to look for the win right there. And that's where people that are Jake fans are probably hoping he's going to take the W there in the first round. And Andre is a little bit susceptible to that in the first round. He's got to be careful. If he can get out of the first round, I got Arlovski by decision. You know, and I'm rolling with Arlovski. That's my pick by decision. I'm hoping he will get out of the first round, but I do think that that's his most dangerous chance right there, where he might take a L and get a loss there. Andre, though, I remember reading this guy made an argument on Twitter. He was some MMA guy, a fan, reporter, whatever, made this argument about Andre Arlovski being the best heavyweight in UFC history. And it really was a compelling argument because he's gone for so long and he's these ups and downs. He was the champ and he's still around, and he's potentially could be on a 4-fight win streak right now, which is just bonkers, man.
Greatest heavyweight.
Oh yeah,
greatest
Fedor,
heavyweight
yes.
of all time right here though. My man Fedor. We didn't get to see him in UFC. Dana will try to dispute that, but my God, he beat all the UFC guys when they were in Pride and Strikeforce and everything else. The guy is just incredible.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Love Fedor, but I thought it was a compelling argument.
No, it could be. I mean, Fedor didn't fight in the UFC, so you got to figure that. But Fedor also has a knockout of Andre Arlovski, just if that is a true statement. Yeah,
true.
Unbelievable.
True.
That was a heavily, big time popular fight back there. On Arlovski used to have.
Yep, I watched that one. Yep,
they pumped that at every single Hooters and Wing House and every Wild Wings.
What was that? Was that Affliction or Strikeforce?
I think that was Strikeforce. That was big, man. Arlovski had his fangs. They had him all done up for that one, and I think a lot of people had that being Fedor's first loss, and well, didn't disappoint, and it was not Fedor's first loss. All right, but how do I see this matchup going? I think this is a great matchup for Andre Arlovski. I think he gets another victory here. I think it's crazy at 43 years old. His approach to most fights is to out-volume guys and use speed. At 43, I mean, he's a heavyweight, and that's what he does. He wins with volume, and he goes in with great speed, and it's crazy that he's still doing that. Some guys have it. He certainly has it, man. Collier looked good in his last fight, but everyone looks good versus Chase Sherman. I'm just going to throw that out there. There's a reason why they cut him. They just brought him back for guys like Romanov to get a good stepping stone, I feel like, here. I think Arlovski has more skill, more experience. I think this is a decision win. Yeah, I think Collier has a shot to get that left hand on him. He goes in with the right and then finishes with the left. It's possible, but Collier, even though he looked good in his last fight, he's not a heavyweight. The dude was a ripped middleweight, and then basically COVID hits and he balloons to 265. He does. I mean, he's growing into this size, but he could have easily just stayed at light heavyweight or potentially make middleweight again. I'd be a lot of weight loss for him, but the dude was a ripped middleweight. I don't see him being a true heavyweight up here like Andre Arlovski. Listen, this is just my opinion, but I think the bookies got it right. I think Andre steamrolls right here. Decision, speed, and volume for the old-timer. Card market goes Andre, legend, every aspect of the game. Dude was printed in the very first printing of Topps UFC cards, round 1. I think he's growing in popularity. I think he's still racking up wins. I just don't think his card market is so desirable. I think the play right now for kids is speculation plays. Guys like Hamzat, the guys that are unbeaten and everything like that. I think it's all spec play. So I don't have a buy on Arlovski. I got a hold on him. The guy's a legend, though. I mean, just crazy that he probably gets another win.
Maybe this time they'll finally give him a post-fight interview if he gets the W. Right. Last time they went to break because he was leading the prelims, and they interviewed all these other people that had nothing and no type of history like Arlovski, and then they cut it too short for the main, and they didn't even interview him. He was looking around like, huh?
Yeah, well,
it's like, dude, man, respect the legend.
Yeah, he certainly is a legend. Jake printed 2016. Hard sell on the dude. He's not the same dude at heavyweight as he was at middleweight. I think he was only printed in 2016. They haven't even reprinted him. That's not a good look for you. That's all I'm going to say. All right, moving right on. We got another nice little battle here. We got the featherweights. Andre Fili, 21-8 with 1 no contest. He's a -260 favorite. He's 31 years old, and he's coming off a no contest to Daniel Pineda and a loss to Bryce Mitchell. Before that, he's going up against Joe Anderson Brito, 12-3-1 plus 210 underdog. He's 27 years old, and his UFC debut was that loss to Bill Eligio. Tom, I mean, I see passive victory on both sides here, but what do you see happening?
Yeah, I gotta roll with Feely here. Touchy-feely.
Great nickname.
Decision. Great nickname. Yeah, decision, but I wouldn't be stunned either or shocked. I'll finish in the second or third via strikes. I would prefer to see that, actually, but my first pick would be a decision. But either way, I got Andre Fili winning this one, from my opinion.
Yeah, I think Fili gets it done here as well. I think the clear path to victory, Brito is a 1-round fighter, and Fili can easily set a 3-round pace, no question. Can use that length, that reach. He keeps him at bay for round number 1, and then he goes to work round 2 and 3. Brito's got serious power, so you got to watch out for those heavy shots. He's got good takedowns, but it's basically first-round takedowns, and he's got the power and the muscle, but that really weighs heavy on him. I agree. I think Fili gets it done here. I think we do see him finish him late round 2, early round 3. If Brito doesn't get the early first-round knockout, he looks like he just tends to gas every time. And Fili's, he's a veteran in there, so I think he knows what to do. Now, as far as the card market goes, I think Fili, I like him, but 31 years old, he's just not as good as I thought he was going to be, as good as he could be. He's got a lot of losses to once you go up against any top guys. I got to put a sell on him. He's been more of a gatekeeper to breaking into the top guys, top 10, top 15. I like him, but I got to put a sell on him. Brito, too new. We'll reevaluate later. All right, let's move right on. Tom, we got a lightweight battle here. Jared Gordon, Flash Gordon, 18-4 plus 160. He's 33 years old. He's on that 3-fight winning streak himself. He's going up against Grant Dawson, who's 17-1-1, minus 190 favorite. He's 28 years old, and his last fight was that draw against Ricky Glenn, and he's been on the 8-fight win streak prior to that. Now, I know this is a tough one right here. I can tell you. How do you see this one breaking down?
Yeah, this is very tough. I could see this going either way. Jared Gordon, I like Jared, man. I think Jared, what's he running out of? Queens? He's an NYC guy. I know that.
Right.
I want to, but I'm not 100 on that. But he's never been subbed. I was back and forth, but you know what? I'm leaning towards Dawson potentially giving Jared his first sub loss, rear naked choke round 2, or potentially a decision win by Grant.
I mean, the thing is, Gordon's 3 wins in a row looks better on paper. That was Selecki, Chavez, and Fishgold. And Selecki looked great in his last fight, but you could tell he wasn't comfortable in his debut, his first couple fights in the UFC. It looks like he's going into his own now. Grant Dawson, we know the draw. Not really a draw. I got to give the big advantage here, though, to Dawson because he's coming in with the Glory Camp. Kraus is in the corner. Kraus's coaching skills are some of the best, and he's shown it over and over again. He brings his fighters ready to compete with a proper game plan. That's the key. His fighters stick to the game plan. They don't break it. I think Gordon's going to have his hands full here. Pressure takedowns over and over and over again. I think Jared always looks to pressure himself, and he's going to look to fight in his face. I don't think that's the right move here unless he really is landing heavy and often. I think Dawson will not tire. I don't think the pressure helps him. I think he just smothers Gordon. And I don't know if I see the submission, but I definitely see a finish coming here. He's got those heavy hammer fists when he's got guys on the ground. He really has very good top pressure. Like I said, I give the slight advantage because he has Kraus in the corner. I like him. Gordon, not printed. Not too worried about seeing him yet. Got some time on him. 33 years old. Is he going to climb fast enough? I doubt it. Grant Dawson just got printed in 2022 Prism. Super cheap. I see him as a good spec play right now. He's really young. He's really talented. He's got good coaching. Got a great record. I mean, there's a lot to like about the guy. Let's see how it plays out. But I agree with you. I think Dawson gets the win. Just the smothering wrestling is going to happen. And I think Gordon's going to try to fight it off with pressure, and it's just going to wear him out and not wear Dawson out. All right, moving on to the middleweights. Christo Jocko, 23-5, 32 years old, minus 170 favorite here. He's going. He last beat Serkinov. That's no small feat right there. He's going up against Gerald Mearshart, who's 34 years old, or 34-14, and he's a plus 150 underdog. And he's on that 3-fight winning streak, last beating Stolfus legitly, and then he beat Muradov. I felt that fight was very weird. I didn't like it. That's the low blow there as he was getting his butt beat, and Muradov just didn't look to recover from that low blow, and Mearshart got him. Tom, how do you see this one breaking down here?
Man, this is another almost pick 'em. You know what I mean? I could see it going either way. But you know what? I'm leaning towards Gerald here, man. I'm going to go with the underdog by round 2, RNC, or a decision. And by the way, I wanted to say when Gerald Mearshart shaves, he looks like Dr. House from the show House.
I don't watch that show, but I gotta take a look. We'll see how it goes. Yeah,
I mean it's an oldie, but the reruns are out.
I had a roommate back in the day. She used to watch House all the time. No question. So you're thinking Mearshart round 2, and he's gonna get the finish here. All right, yeah, I mean,
yeah, rear naked choke or a decision, but I mean, he's definitely going to be looking for that. That's kind of his thing.
I agree with that. I got to say, though, Jocko, he's got pretty good takedown defense. I think he's got a pretty big advantage on the feet. I think as solid as Gerald is on the ground, I just don't think he's going to be able to get the fight to the ground often enough to get what you're talking about. Some ground and pound
right.
or submission. I think we saw Misha bigger, stronger than Jocko, and Jocko was able to hold his own, not just get taken down, tossed around. And I think Gerald is the poor man Misha. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. I'm going off this last fight, rewatching it. Serkinov cut down in weight. Dude is so strong, so powerful, especially for a middleweight. And Jocko was able to piece him up on the feet and avoid any big takedowns where he was going to get finished and everything like that. I think it's pretty close right there to the same way Gerald Mearshart's going to look. He doesn't look phenomenal on the feet. He really needs to get this fight to the ground. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do it. I mean, if we see another low blow, that's just veteran savvy Mearshart, because he was getting whooped up by Muradov and then that low blow came. He was getting whooped.
Well, some people might call that.
Yeah, no, it was super crazy. It just changed the whole thing of the game, and it was almost like, I don't remember if a point. I don't think a point was taken, but that was one of those ones where a point should have definitely been at least taken off, even though he lost. It changed the whole fight. Go back and watch that one. So I don't really love this fight here, but I think Jocko has the advantage. I think Gerald beats a lot of guys, but almost all the guys he's beating are not proven. Both guys, though, hard sells for me. I'm not going to be picking up any of their cards right now. Not.
What are you calling Jocko? What are you calling?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a decision. If maybe a late knockout, but I think it's going all the way. I think he's just going to piece him up, stay away from the takedowns. We're going to see some grappling and some wear and tear, and I think we just see Jocko just avoid that and get the W. But let's move on to like one of my favorite fighters right now. We got the heavyweights. Alexander Romanov, 15-0, minus 2,200 favorite going into this. 2,200. He came out at 1,500 the first time they scheduled this fight, and now he's at minus 2,200 for this one. He's going up against Chase, the Vanilla Gorilla. So King Kong is going up against the Vanilla Gorilla, plus 1,100 in this one. Chase was just cut. They brought him back for this. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because at minus 2,200, listen, there's no meat on the bones. And when there's no meat on the bones, normally the bookies know what's going down. Tom, what do you got? What round does Romanov finish this fight in?
No, but we covered this fight last week. It was supposed to take place last weekend at UFC Vegas 52. It ended up getting canceled last second. I think it was due to illness from Chase Sherman. Yes, being ill in some fashion. But what we didn't know then was what Alexander Romanov was going to show up like. This dude showed up at 240 pounds when previously he was always showing up at 265, right at the heavyweight limit. He showed up 25 pounds slimmer. Dude looks jacked, and he has a buzz cut. So it basically displays his enormous head. This dude is looking jacked.
He's got like
man.
a six-pack now. I don't know. He had like a flabby belly.
Oh, yeah. That 25 pounds difference is huge. And I got to see how it plays out. I almost want to say the 25-pound difference until he gets used to it might be in Chase's favor, because when he gets on top of him, it's 25 pounds less. It's going to be a little bit easier to potentially turn them, get out of him, get him off you, push him off. But we'll see. I mean, like I was telling Mark before we went live here, if Romanov really kind of solidifies himself at this weight and keeps getting, in better shape and more used to being at this weight, and maybe his speed increases, things that come along with that, and then his skill set over time as well, this dude really could be like a Cain Velasquez type. So, I'm rolling still, same call as last week, but I do think that the weight cut in a way, that getting in better shape, does favor Chase slightly until he gets used to it. We got to see. I got to lean towards that just because he's coming a little less weight to be pounding on you, or that forearm choke. It's just less weight behind it. He might have more strength behind it, though, but that weight does make a difference. Chase, like I said last week, he does have a chance. It's not that you're fighting another professional fighter here. Could he win? It's possible, yes, although highly unlikely. It is possible. His back's against the wall. He had kind of an extra week now to kind of think about this, potentially get a couple other things in place here, strategy-wise. He does have, a puncher's chance here. But I got to roll Alexander first round finish. And probably a sub.
All right. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one. I think Romanov is going to spike after the savage beating he puts on Chase Sherman. Buy the Romanov cards now. He's going to put on a display. That's all I'm saying. He's in the best. He's in the best shape of his life. He's taking it very serious. Yeah. What happened with him and Juan Espinino, it was real, man. He might have lost to Juan. There was a low blow. He couldn't continue. Yada yada. A little weird. A little. Who knows? We're not there. We're not in the fighter's cage. But This dude looks like he said, I'm getting into it now where I'm not going to get gassed, even if someone does bring me 3 rounds or whatever, 5 rounds when he's ready. Dude looks phenomenal right now. I just can't see him losing to Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman is the stepping stone for all the guys they want to pump up. All right. I'm not going to spend any more time on that. All right. We're going to cover one more fight on this card here just because I think he's got some potential here. We're talking lightweights. We got Natan Levy, minus 195 favorite. He's 30 years old, and his UFC debut was a loss to Rafa Garcia. It was a battle, though. It was a really good battle. I'm thinking that humbled him a lot. He's going up against Mike Breeden, who's a plus 165 underdog here. Now, Tom, this is one of the first fights of the night here. We're not going to have any card talk because both guys aren't printed. What do you see happening?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. Natan, he's got the physique, and he's got, potentially the skill set here to be somewhat successful and maybe very successful. We'll see. This is just really, he's coming off his initial UFC fight. His debut was a loss. So he really needs this. I feel like, just like you said, it was a little bit humbling, but a little bit of humble pie is good if you get back to the drawing board and try to correct any of the holes in your game. I got to roll with Natan here as well. Mike's coming off a terrible KO.
Alexander,
from Alexander, yes. Not really super hyped on either fighter myself, but you know what? I'm rolling with Levy here by sub round 2 or 3.
Yeah, crazy part is he's got pretty much all sub victories, and the dude is a karate background. I feel like that first loss is going to help him, because when you go out there and you watch him in that first loss, he's swinging for the fences every time. He wants the knockout for the crowd, and he fought the best Rafa Garcia to date. That was the best Rafa's pretty much looked since. I think Levy throws pretty heavy. I think he's got pretty good ground game. I expect him to have more skills in this fight and not load up on every shot. I expect him to be ready to go the distance, not gas yourself out, not go for the finish in the first minute. And I expect him to get the win. I think he does knock Breeden out. And that's it. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this one either. But we can evaluate their cards later. Obviously, these guys, as I said, brand new to the sport and everything like that, Levy and everything. So, guys, I appreciate you joining us.
Yo, check it, though, before we get off here. Win My Cards. That episode will be coming up based on the 7 fights, the matchups that we just discussed here. If you like the cards and you want to get a chance at winning free, check that out. Put in your predictions. You just can't have the same picks as Mark. He'll explain those rules during that episode as he does every time. Also, shout out to both the guys that won last week. We had 2 winners. So win it again, baby. Always the heat on the cards. There's always hot heat there. But 2 guys, was Preston, and who was the other guy?
I forget. I sent it out, though. He wanted GSP. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Well, I don't know
if
he got it yet. It's in the mail. He's got
nice.
some GSPs coming, and Preston wanted Kobe Covingtons. So I sent him some Kobe's. Yeah.
Very cool of you. Very cool of you. Awesome, guys.
Thank you very much for joining, guys.